right, so here we are for our next episode of Commontary. This time it's me versus Nick Marinbro, and here we are shuffling up, getting ready for the match. I'm on Boros Monarch, and he's on Religond.
All right, so since you were there, not only in presence but actually playing, how do you feel about this matchup? Do you feel one of these decks is favored over the other one?
I really don't know. I feel like it's easier for him, and as you can see, we both rolled 6. We roll again. He gets a 4. My burn spells are just not very good against Religond.
Yeah, they do have a lot of redundant creatures that they don't really care about dying. So I guess on the plus side, it does go most of that burn goes face. So it's not completely dead in this matchup, but that certainly does mitigate the effectiveness of Boros Monarch's main game plan.
And I will say, we do not show our hands to the camera again. Well, not again, since you might not have listened to the show. There are a lot of things that we did in the recording that we'll know better for next time. We recorded all of these back to back. Nick takes a mulligan here. So we didn't really have everything down quite yet. So I think I keep this hand. Yeah, it looks like I'm keeping it. That's me on the left. So there'll definitely be some quality of life improvements the next time that we do our recording.
All right, so Religond is technically a 3-colored deck, but doesn't have that much in the way of actual red cards in it.
It's splashing Rally the Peasants.
Yeah, so I've got to imagine that this deck probably mulligans pretty well in terms of it's mainly a green-white deck that coincidentally happens to be able to flashback one really powerful effect. So, all right, it looks like he's keeping on the 6. So
and he scries to the bottom, and I'm on the play. So I lead off with a life gain land, gain a life, and I pass on back. Nick takes the draw step, and he goes plain soul. Oh no, my bad. It's Benevolent Bodyguard, which he can sacrifice to prevent a creature to give a creature pro color, and I respond with a Inspector Thraben. Oh yeah, I'm starting to remember how this game went. You see how I missed the land drop there?
Oh boy.
But I get a clue token courtesy of our original Magic art. Oh no, I get my Blues Clues token because I thought it was more obviously a clue token during that game.
All right, so it looks here like Benevolent Bodyguard is one of the better starts that the Gone deck could have in this matchup, just on the factor that it does let them protect the combo. For those unaware, the combo here is Midnight Guard and Presence of Gond, which is going to generate infinite 1/1 Elf Warriors.
And I had to bounce my clue token with my Glint Hawk, and I pass back to Nick, and he goes ahead and cycles an Ash Barrens and picks up his Mountain. And I think that the Mountain and maybe 1 or 2 other red sources in the deck, we can get a deck list from Nick before this goes live so that you can see what he was running here.
All right, so to you, does that Mountain indicate that he's got parts of this combo in hand, or is he just trying to fix in and hedge his bets?
I think that to me that means that he uses the mill spell, and then he finds a Presence of Gond on top, and a battle screech to put in the bin. And instead of taking the Presence of Gond, he actually takes the creature, which to me says, yeah, he's ready. He's almost ready to go off.
All right, so just adding another layer of protection for the turn that he actually decides to go off, which I don't mind here. I mean, even though you are behind on land drops, there are still bolts in the deck that could potentially kill. And that's a Crumbling Vestige, I believe.
And he goes ahead and plays out the second Bodyguard. So he's got the Mountain in his hand. I don't think he... Like, at this point, he's not going to go for the rally kill, but I got to start trying to do something. I have missed so many land drops at this point that I'm just, like, Galvanic Blasting his 1/1 to try and stay in it, because otherwise I just can't keep up.
Yeah, and he's at a comfortable 17 life. That's, well out of range of your burn spells without Metalcraft. And I think this one just looks like he might have it in the bag.
Yeah, it's pretty grim. I just... I got so mana screwed, I just couldn't compete. I don't remember why I kept that hand. Unfortunately, it's been a while now. So he's doing some math here.
All right, 4 mana. Sen's Enlistment.
Oh, maybe I don't lose the combo this game. Well, yeah, he plays Sin's Enlistment, then he flashes back Battle Screech. Oh no, he attacks me. My bad. So I go to my untap step. I untap. I draw. Still don't find a land, I don't think.
Now, I could see if this game had you hitting some sort of basic land here, it would have gone much better just with a Thraben Inspector to help keep the cards flowing and keep
you'll
things moving.
You'll notice I Galvanic Blasted in response. He gave one of his creatures pro white, so I couldn't attack him with my Thraben Inspector there.
Ugh. Just not great.
So he bounces the Crumbling Vestige back to his hand with the Selesnya
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary. I was like, the Selesnya bounce land? Question mark. And he has his Midnight Guard. So really, I'm kind of dead here. If he has Presence of Gone in his hand, he's just gonna win the game. I have no interaction. I can't possibly kill it. I draw my land, but it's already so late. Like, I can't do anything. I hit him for 2 because it just doesn't matter. He cycles an Ash Barrier at the end of his turn.
Oh man, this is just not where you want to be, especially hitting a tap land as your second land.
No, I'm pretty sure he's about to go off. You look, I get my elf tokens ready for him here.
All right.
They're Link from Legend of Zelda. I got cool tokens, dude.
All right, so if he has the Presence of Gone in hand, which we're pretty sure he does at this point, just by virtue of the fact that he didn't take one off of that Commune with the Gods, this might just be over because I can't imagine.
Yeah, I just have no interaction here.
And thinking about it.
No, he's got it, dude.
And there we go.
Slow roll. Yep, he has Presence of Gone. I let him do the combo for a little bit just to show people on camera, what it looks like, I guess. But like, I lose the game here. He has his own tokens. Doesn't need to use my links.
All right. So for those unaware, Midnight Guard untaps whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, and Presence of Gone is an aura that gives the enchanted creature the ability to tap to create a 1/1 Elf Warrior token. So with a Midnight Guard enchanted with Presence of Gone, you can just create an arbitrary number of elf tokens. So at this point, your outs are... yeah. I mean, the outs there were what? Exactly Electrickery? And then he just does it again on your end step?
Yeah, so I had no outs. I was gonna lose the game.
All right, so we're gonna go to game 2, and how do you want to sideboard in this matchup?
I want to bring in spot removal, and I want to bring in Standard Bearer.
All right, so Standard Bearer helps with the specific case of Presence of Gone.
Yeah, he can no longer combo. It does not help with the Benevolent Bodyguards, as they specifically say a creature you control.
Okay, I did not actually know that about Benevolent Bodyguard, but I guess that's a good thing to know. All right, but so after sideboarding, you're obviously going to side into a bit more removal. You're going to be able to take out some of the must answer threats in the deck. How do you think he's going about his sideboarding?
I really don't know. I think he does show me after the match, though. I think he's gonna. I actually don't even know what the sideboard of this deck really contains.
Well, I'm imagining, based on your average sideboard, there's probably some level of artifact hate in the board. Do you think he's going for that at all, or is he just going to try and sort of double down on getting the combo as quickly as possible and potentially some additional protection spells?
He might sideboard into Standard Bearers to fight my Standard Bearers.
Oh, okay. That's actually an interesting next level sideboard call.
Because it must target a flag bearer.
Yeah, so it does get around that, but we'll see. We'll see here exactly. Hopefully, we'll see some of his sideboard cards in this matchup. So for Boros Monarch, is that a deck that really cares about being on the play versus the draw, or is it comfortable in either role?
It's comfortable in either role. Obviously, one of the best starts that you can have is like Thraben Inspector and a Prophetic Prism or something like that. So whether you do it on the play or on the draw, it tends to not matter a whole big lot. The only thing that kind of matters is the fact that there's so many tap lands in the deck. that can kind of make you a little bit too slow if you're on the draw. But overall, I don't think the deck really minds being on the draw.
All right, so hopefully we'll see a non-mana screw game here, and we'll get to see both of these decks doing what they want to do. All right, so this matchup, I've got to imagine that Gond, being primarily a combo deck, does want to be on the play as much as possible. So I guess it's going to take some level of hit here.
I'm definitely going to be on the play. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to take the draw.
Oh, no. I think Pauper is one of those formats where you're almost exclusively on the play, but all right. Looks like we're getting a bit more shuffling here, and
yeah. I reset the live total. Things are going great. We're listening to some Blink-182 while we record this. It was a lot of fun. I'm wearing my Andrew WK shirt.
All right. After these players are shuffled up, we can get back to the commentary in earnest. All right.
This is what the fans really want, dude. They want us to banter. They want us to lightheartedly banter over some hands. So here we are. Adrian,
how about you tell the folks at home what you're drinking on? What's your beverage of choice tonight?
I'm drinking an unflavored Topo Chico. What about you, Mike?
Much like you, local brand of seltzer, Polar's Ruby Red Grapefruit Seltzer, and it's delightful. We just finished recording an episode, so we were both a little bit parched.
We were very parched. You can see me getting my tokens ready over there. I'm like, oh, I should probably use my original Magic Art tokens, huh?
All right, and looks like Nick is finishing up shuffling here.
Yep, I'll cut him. We'll take our draws, and we'll cut each other. We'll take our draws, and we'll start game 2 here with me on the play.
And hopefully we get to see a good, fair matchup where both of y'all get to do what you want to do.
A good, clean game. You'll notice Nick, the way that Nick is, I go to 6. You notice the way that Nick is presenting is actually how we learned how to present in Japan, where you show the other person you're only drawing 7 cards. Every time he'll lay down 4, and then he'll lay down 3. Or 3 and 3 or whatever, however many. So it's pretty courteous. Yeah. So I'm taking them all. I'm going down to 6. Didn't like what I saw. Nick cuts me again. I'll take my 6.
And brief look at the hand.
And you'll notice there was a cut there. It's because I thought that maybe the camera wasn't recording, so I got up just to make sure. Sure enough, it was. You didn't miss anything. I think I decided to go ahead and keep my 6, though.
Yep, it certainly looks like you did. I'm counting 6 cards in hand, so that looks right. And you're going to take that scry, leave it on top.
Let's do it.
All right, tap land. The excitement begins.
Boros. Nick takes his draw.
All right, and I guess what don't you want to see out of this matchup?
I don't want him to play his own standard bearer or protection cards. I want to be able to get rid of his key cards with my removal spells. And I play an Alchemist Vial, and I draw my card, and I ship the turn back.
Already starting to kind of dig out of that mulligan and at least keep the cards flowing. And Nick doing much the same, Faithless Looting.
Yeah, I didn't realize that he had that.
Well, I mean,
I forgot until just now.
The deck has a decent amount of graveyard relevant cards still. It's got the Sense Enlistment, it's got the Battle Screech, both of which we saw game 1. So it does have stuff it doesn't mind binning, and that looks like a Crumbling Vestige. I can't quite tell what the card on the bottom there is. Can you?
It looks almost like a Benevolent Bodyguard, but I just don't know if he would have discarded one of those.
All right, and 2 mana from you for Standard Bearer, and here it comes. All right.
And I bounce the planes back to my hand with a Boros Garrison. So now Nick can't really combo off. He has no removal in his deck. At least not that I'm aware of. Like, he might be playing a Gut Shot or a Journey to Nowhere or something, but he has to get rid of the Standard Bearer before he's able to go off with Presence of Gond.
All right, and we see an Evolving Wilds, I believe.
Yeah, that is an Evolving Wilds. He passes the turn right on back. I will probably get in for 1 here. As soon as I become the Monarch.
Ooh.
No, as soon as I play my Serrated Arrows.
Serrated Arrows definitely putting in work.
And I attack him for 1. He fetches in response, and he goes and gets his card. Yeah, so Serrated Arrows is something I moved to the main deck to fight the overwhelming number of Delver and Tribe players at Pats. Well, really only one Tribe player, but really it's there's so many Delver players, and it's in my main deck, and it is going to end up being pretty good here, as I think Nick will find it hard to fight through that. But I think he has a counter for it.
Well, we're about to see. Oh, he's got Spider Silk Armor.
Yeah, so that sort of puts a damper on that plan, because now I can't just pick off his 1/1s at will. So he gets an O2 plant token because of Spider Silk Armor with Reach.
And all right, so I guess this serves the double duty of making sure that not only do you have a harder time removing his creatures, but also you're not going to be able to get in for that much damage in the air. So I like this play out of him, but we'll have to see how he follows it up, because that Spider Silk Armor is not doing much without, you know, a little bit of assistance.
So I take my draw step, and I cast a Inspector Thraben, and get my original Magic card clue token this time. And now I will go ahead and crack the clue and draw a card. Contemplating my plays here. Looks like I'll go ahead and play an Ancient Den for the turn. Get in for 1. Nick can't really block. Sorry, go ahead.
And notably at this point, you've got Metalcraft online. So those Galvanic Blasts, if there are any in hand, are live for the full 4. So that's pretty beneficial here, because now you can remove those pesky 3 toughness Midnight Guards. Yeah.
And I'm a little surprised that I didn't try and get rid of this plant token. Maybe I didn't really think it was that threatening quite yet, or maybe since I wanted to, maybe I'm just saving my counters for something else. But it seems to me that getting rid of it would also be a defensible call, just putting -1/-1 counters on it. I missed what Nick did. It looks like he flashback his Faithless Looting, and he been to rally.
Yeah, so he now has one of his win cons kind of online.
Yeah, and here I go ahead and I start putting some -1/-1 counters on that token to try and start getting to work, so he can't just rally me out of nowhere. Attack for 2, he can't really block. Again, he'll just lose his creature. And I play a Boros Garrison for no value and pass the turn. So my hand must be pretty reactive at this point. Otherwise, I would be, I have plenty of cards in hand, so I should be slamming stuff. But if I don't have a lot going on, then it's better to just go ahead and play the Garrison and keep going. And you'll notice I also took, even though it was a tap land, it will gain me 1 life, which could matter with Rally the Peasants in the graveyard.
Yeah, just making yourself as difficult to kill as possible is pretty good in this matchup. All right, so we're seeing a Battle Screech that can't be flashed back yet. That's a little rough.
Right, but him having 1/2s is very powerful here. And he gets another O2. So I'm in kind of a spot here. Like it's gonna be tough for me to fight through all this.
And using that Serrated Arrows to kind of tick down those birds slowly but surely.
You got to make them O1s. Take my draw for the turn. Contemplate the contents of my hand a couple of times here.
I've got to imagine that Core Skyfisher here is, it's got to be a Core Skyfisher in hand, right?
Yeah, I think so. Or maybe a Glinthawk.
Yeah, so something to return that. Yeah, there we go, Glinthawk. So bouncing the Serrated Arrows back, since those do get sacked on your upkeep, you do have that sort of window of time where you can get them back into the hand before they just simply vanish.
And that's good here. That's going to help me really combat Nick's board. I gain my life back. And I'll probably just replay the Serrated Arrows and maybe put a -1/-1 counter on the token that has no counter on it. So that way, he can't really effectively block me or anything.
And
actually, no, I can't really attack here because he has the Battle Screech in his graveyard.
Battle Screech is a sorcery, though.
I not Battle Screech.
Rally.
I did decide to attack. Yeah, he has the rally. So he chooses to block, and I blow him out with an overloaded electricity.
Ooh, boy. That's
he blocked
just...
with he blocked with the O2.
That's just no good right there.
Right, so now I'm feeling like in a pretty good position. He has no more clock. He can't flash back the birds to get the tokens. He can't flash back the Battle Screech, I mean. So Nick's kind of in a tough position here. He still has plenty of cards in hand. He can still easily kill me, but I've still got the serrated arrows in my hand, and I've got creatures on the board, including a standard bear. So I'm feeling pretty good in this spot.
All right, so now at this point, it's just basically up to you to continue to apply pressure and make sure that he doesn't have time to rebuild from this.
Right. He's got the O2 or the O2 again here. O2 with reach.
Just a constant spam of very non-aggressive tokens here.
Yeah, I untap, take my draw step, and replay.
4 mana for...
tap my mana a little better.
Serrated arrows.
Yeah, and it's just doing so much work for me this game.
And if you can rebuy that one more time, I think it's just going to be so rough for him at this point. All right, so getting in for 4 here.
Yeah, attack Nick for 4.
And
he drops down to 13.
Just taking it. That's kind of the position that you've priced him into here.
Yeah, with the arrows, he has no real effective block here. I go ahead and pass the turn on back. Nick draws for turn.
And at this point, he's the longer this game goes on, the less I like his odds, just in terms of having a harder time assembling his combo, even if the standard bearer wasn't there.
I think I must have some number of burn spells in hand. Why am I not playing anything, you know? So I put a -1/-1 counter on the token there. Take my draw. I go ahead and kill it off. I'm probably planning on bouncing it back again, would be my guess here.
I think that's certainly reasonable. And, yep, there we are. Core Skyfisher, bounce back the serrated arrows. Man, that serrated arrow is just putting in work now.
Because at this point, I don't care so much about drawing the extra card as I do just making sure that Nick can't keep any creatures on the table, which is why I'm not getting back the 2-drop. So get in for another 4. Nick goes down to 10. Takes his draw step.
Now, I'm trying to think about the outs that he has here. Like, if he gets multiple Battle Screeches back-to-back, does that save him here?
Yeah, it could very well, because my serrated arrows is very slow. So if he's able to like get a couple of Battle Screechers, get maybe, 4, 6 flyers in the air, I'm gonna have a tough time beating him. Because all his flyers are 2/2s and all mine are gonna be 1/1s.
All right, so it looks like he's burning 2 Ash Barons, which unfortunately for him does mean that 2 of the cards out of his 4-card hand were lands.
Right, so he flooded a little bit there. I mean, you'll notice he's also not casting anything. So I think in both of our positions, it's better to be, a little bit proactive.
All right, plays a land and passes back, and it looks like on the end step,
I Galvanic Blast him.
Yep, and that looks like lethal on board, so get in with the team?
Yeah, is it going to be good? He might have a Prismatic Strands or something.
That looks like a Prismatic Strands, and there it is. All right, so that's one more turn that he gets to live, and if he can get a white creature on board, that could prolong that. All right, and it looks like we're just picking up artifacts, playing them again, drawing more cards.
I tapped 3. Oh, I flew a red.
Just in the off chance that you managed to get that.
Yeah, an extra burn spell. And
Yep.
You'll notice I played a Radiant Fountain. I gained 2 life there as well. So I'm at a very, 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 very high 24. Nick's only at 6. And he needs to find a white creature in order to flash back this Prismatic Strands.
And that's pretty much the only thing keeping him alive at this point, and finds a Midnight Guard. So
Yep, there's
I guess
a card that'll flash back. And the Midnight Guard has reach, too.
it does, and it's a 2/4?
I think I'm bolting him in response here.
Actually, there's a 2/5 now with both of those Spider Silks up, and there's just the last of the burn.
Yeah, I bolt and Galvanic Blast him in response. Probably playing around something there. I don't know what. Nick concedes and we go to our next game.
Playing around Midnight Guard, being able to flash back the strands.
No, but why didn't I just kill him on my turn? Maybe because I was thinking maybe he had another strands.
Yeah, I mean it does force him into either doing something about the burn spells or loot. Like, he had to be on exactly another prismatic strands, because if he wasn't, he would just die to board presence the next turn. But man, that's just not a good position.
I feel like I was hedging my bet, and I feel like I wasn't slow rolling, but I was just hedging my bets against him having another prismatic strands in his hand.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair. I can't imagine the deck's only running a singleton copy of that card. All right, going back for a little bit more sideboard in here.
Back into the tank.
And I guess for game 3 here, we've seen the Spider Silk armors. We've seen how that sort of slows down your clock. We've also seen the standard bearer out of you. What, if anything, changes here for game 3?
I think I brought in Relic of Progenitus. I don't think I brought that in because Nick's deck is attacking me on 2 axes. Like, sure, it has the Rallygon plan, which is what I primarily was concerned about, but he can also just win with Sin's Enlistment, you know?
Yeah, I was going to say,
or Battle Screech. So I think I'm trying to cut him off of that, and I decide that Relic is a good enough card to bring in.
And also the fact that he's just kind of milling away stuff that can be flashed back gives it some incidental value.
Yeah, and he's going to be on the play here, so I do have that going against me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a massive uphill battle, but he will have 1 more mana than you on most turns, and he is desperately trying to assemble a combo before you can find an answer. All right, so 7s from both players, and we'll see if these are both keeps. It looks like Nick is going back for 6, and it looks like you're keeping. So
yeah, it looks like I kept 7.
I have to imagine there's some sort of hate cards in there, or just a reasonable curve with card draw in it.
I feel like I had Standard Bearer again.
That would explain a very quick keep. That card is backbreaking against the decks it's good at.
Yep. Standard Bearer is such a good sideboard card. I love that card so much. That might be one of the reasons why I like Boros so much, is there's just so many good sideboard cards that come in that are like silver bullets against matchups like this, where you really, in like last game, I think we really saw kind of the strength of it, because I don't know if Nick had Presence of Gone in his hand, but I definitely was like, I hamstrung him from ever having the combo as a way to beat me.
Yeah, and I think that's about the best you can do against these very specific combo decks, is figure out an access that gives them at least enough trouble, if not shuts them out completely from going off. So that way they have to really fight for it to get there.
Nick scries to the bottom, and we're off to the races.
All right, and just a tap land for the first turn. Now, is his list still running the Soul Sisters package?
Yeah, it is, and I'm actually a little surprised we haven't seen any out of the games that we've played so far. So he leads off with another Benevolent Bodyguard. I leave off with maybe one of the worst lands in my deck, one of the cycle lands, and then I follow it up with the Mountain. So not a very strong start from me. In a perfect world, one of the first land would have been a gain land, and the second one might have been an artifact. And this is me making sure that I can't redirect this to my creature, and he says no, it says creature you control.
Man, those niche interactions in Pauper they rarely come up, but there are some very bizarre niche ones.
So Nick has a pretty good opening hand here. He's got a Benevolent Body. I mean, we both have good hands. I have out Standard Bearer. He has out Benevolent Bodyguard and Spider Silk Armor. I'll follow it up with a Prophetic Prism. Go ahead and take my draw. And do I have another land here? That's going to be a big question. A big question. Okay, I do. It is a Ancient Den, so I'm pretty close to having Metalcraft. And I choose to bounce it using my Glenhawk. And back over to Nick.
Now, here's the big thing. If he doesn't have any reasonable removal for that Standard Bearer, he just has a really, really tough time winning here.
And you can see Nick's own standard bearer there that he's milling. I don't think Nick has any removal in his deck. He chooses to take the Benevolent Bodyguard over the standard bearer here. And puts it into his hand. And then I think he goes ahead and he casts it. There it is. Still can't really attack me. I can't really attack him. He's got, 2 1/2s with reach. Take my draw. Thinking about my play here. I go ahead and attack for 2. Probably telegraphing a burn spell there, which would have been really sweet if he'd blocked with both and I'd burned one out.
All right, and
Take my
continuing to
draw.
cycle in further and further, and 1 mana. All right, Glinthawk again. So just going to keep that cycling engine going and going and going.
Yep. Now I've got 2 2/2s. And you'll see that I switched out Prophetic Prism for white before I bounced it to my hand so I could play that Glinthawk. Pretty sneaky, if you ask me. Nick contemplating his plays here. I think did he just... No, he didn't. He just didn't untap... Or no, he's tapped his land. Now he's thinking about what he wants to do, it looks like. It's going to be a 3rd Benevolent Bodyguard. It's a good thing I don't have Echoing Decay in my deck. I take my draw, and what do I do? It's weird how I don't remember what happened turn to turn on this game at all.
All right, so it looks like cycling a little bit more, trying to dig into perhaps some more lands, if nothing else. But it seems like you're in an advantageous position. You're cracking in for 4 a turn here.
It's also kind of weird about
potentially.
watching myself play as I notice all these weird little things I do. Like, you'll notice I keep adjusting my cards so they're straighter. And I keep doing this thing where I like that. You see where I do that with my hand?
Yeah, we all have these little ticks, and even if we don't notice them. All right, so 3-bit Inspector coming down, getting some more card draw online.
And Metalcraft is now online, which is very important because now I got my Galvanic Blast as a 4 damage spell.
Yeah, and with 16 life left on Nick's side of the battlefield, that is representing a significant chunk of life there.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's kind of falling behind. Gains a life, passes on back to me. Untap, upkeep, draw. And you'll notice I also always miracle draw, which is kind of funny. I've never played miracles. Consider my options. Got another Prophetic Prism going. Take my draw. And this is sort of like Boros. I got 2 mana draw spells for days.
Yeah, this is pretty much exactly what the deck wants to be doing, is just kind of grinding slow card advantage and incrementally hitting in for a little bit of damage here and there.
And now I've got a Firebolt, which is great against his board. So that's actually a sideboard card that I brought in. And it's just so good here because, sure, he'll give his guys pro-white, but I've already attacked for the turn. And I'm able to get rid of 2 of his creatures for just 1 card here. So that's a pretty strong card right now, on this particular board.
Yeah, I mean, if it had been like last game with the 2nd copy of Spider Silk, we would have been talking a much different story, but...
And I also want to talk about, you'll notice I also bounced my cycle land back to my hand with white floating. Because I no longer need that land, I'm perfectly capable of picking it back up and cycling it away later, which I just think is, one of the really sweet, really strong plays that this deck has also.
Yeah, all right. And looks like Sen's Enlistment coming down, so this
Nick
might be an out.
Nick has a Sen's Enlistment, which definitely stops my assault. End of his turn, I will go ahead and cycle, draw my card, untap, draw my card.
All right, I'm seeing another Glinthawk in hand, so we may see more bouncing stuff to my hand, drawing a card.
I tap for 2, and I play out another of my beautiful foil Kaladesh Prophetic Prisms. Draw a card. So I've drawn 3 cards over the course of this turn and last turn. Attack Nick for 4. I can't really tell what blocks he assigned just from his hand motion there, but I think he put 1 on both cards.
I think he put 2 on 1 in the hopes that it would eat one of them.
Okay.
And that fire that Galv Blast just kind of making that 2 for 1 a little bit more painful.
Yeah, you'll notice he actually also put his tokens in the graveyard, which is kind of funny. And now I got so many cards in my hand.
Glint
Play another
Hawk.
Glint Hawk.
Bounce
Yeah,
back
wow.
another Prophetic Prism.
The
I mean-
beats, dude.
I mean, this is what the deck wants to be doing, and you've managed to flood the board with enough evasive threats that it's going to require him to be playing on the defensive, and I just don't very much like his position from here, just in terms of he needs a lot to go right in order for him to get back into this game.
Yeah, I've really ground him down because I've had so many prophetic prisms and bounces.
All right, so here he is cycling basically cycling a land to recast Sen's Enlistment, get 2 more 1/1s, kind of hoping to stabilize here. I mean, his outs here, I can't imagine it's much outside of, again, chaining Battle Screeches and just making it difficult for you to deal with the board as a whole. But that's not what he's seeing here. So you're getting in for 8 here, going to be taking him to 3. He's going to try the same thing again. And this time, no combat trick, no burn spell. So
Yeah,
one of them dies, and he's going to be taking, oh man, that 6 damage to the face. So he is pretty much dead on board. Oh, and here comes down the Palace Sentinels, and that's just really going to lock the game up, I imagine.
Yeah, being the Monarch, drawing an extra card a turn is going to really, really punish him here.
And this is, the namesake of the deck, and it really does put in work in matchups like this.
Yeah, because there's one of the Soul Sisters. It's just going to really punish him for being slow.
Yeah, and at this point, you've deployed enough of your creatures where it's unlikely that Soul Warden is going to really matter here. You're just going to be cracking in for as much as possible, and his best option here might be just trading with things at like a 2-for-1 rate, and that's not really where you want to be as a combo deck. And flashing back the Firebolt even to kill off the Soul Warden, just make doubly sure that nothing fishy goes on here.
Or force him to counter with one of those Benevolent Bodyguards, which he's just clinging on to still.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what exactly he's going for there with those, but I would have cashed them in much, much earlier than he has decided to.
You'll notice his hesitation on attacking with the Monarch. I think it's worth it because he basically
Tremendous.
has to block all my creatures or lose or have Prismatic Strands, I guess. Whatever.
He has outs. It's just they're not tremendous outs.
That'll force me to maybe kill one of his creatures so that he can't take Monarch from me next turn too. Or just flash it back and defend something else.
I mean, though, at this point, does he really have that many like instant speed ways to interact that are going to really affect this game? Because even drawing that extra card a turn, he's limited on time.
I'm probably playing a little too conservatively. To be honest.
I mean, this is a deck that can combo out of nowhere, and if he has the gut shot, it could be, kind of a play combo piece 1, play combo piece 2, and get you. But it doesn't strike me as that's where this match is going to be ending here. Another Thraben Inspector, another clue. So you've got, what?
2 clues.
2 clues, up to 3 cards coming your way with minimal effort here.
Yeah, it feels pretty elementary at this point just because I'm so far ahead on the board and on cards. Oh, and I realized I missed a trigger on the Soul Sister. And then I'll get in for 6. He's going to have to flash back the doohickey. Which he blocks first and then flashes back, it looks like maybe.
No, it looks like he's just taking 4.
Huh.
Really clinging on to hope there.
Well, I'll go ahead and try and core Skyfisher again.
Looks like he may have missed that life gain trigger there.
Yeah, I think we both did. Because last time I even pointed it out to him.
There we go. You got it.
Okay.
He's at 3. That's still burn range. That's All right, going for Commune of the Gods, and so far only seeing a Soul Warden and a Presence of Gond. That Presence is just doing nothing here.
Taunting him is what it's doing.
Even if he lands that Soul Warden, I think this is just lights out for him. I don't know. Maybe he has something in hand that I guess he gets to flashback the Prismatic Strands and live one more turn, assuming there's no burn in your hand. Oh, buddy, that's not a legal choice. All right, he's going for the Soul Warden, the only legal choice out of that whole thing. And casting the Soul Warden, gaining a life. He's back to 4. If he can chain together just one more creature. Oh, and there it is. just the Galv Blast on end step.
Well, he's still got the thing in the graveyard, so I kind of have to do it here to set up to win on my turn.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Because he can still block a little bit. He doesn't have enough mana for another Prismatic Strands, but I think we're going to see you close out this game here relatively quickly. Popping one of the clues, getting another card, popping the other clue.
Look at me slow rolling, dude. What BM?
I mean, you got to make sure that you're in the best position possible to win. Because if he has some sort of, I don't know, Holy Day or something, one of the 1-mana white fogs, but all right, it looks like you got him. All right, so this was a really, really neat matchup. There were a lot of very, very typical lines of play. It was nice to see Gond combo go off game 1, and then it was nice to see, the Boros Monarch deck doing what it wants to do. Just sit there, draw a bunch of cards, and head in with 1/1s and 2/2s.
And here we're showing off what I got. I got, 2 Standard Bearers, Ray Revelation, Electrickery, Firebolt, Relic.
And are we possibly going to see what got taken out for them? That'd be lovely here, but I don't want to get people's hopes up too high.
We still got about a minute of video left. While that runs and while we show each other our sideboards, that's an Oblivion Ring, I think. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. Commontary has been a blast. We had such a great reception of the first episode. So my plan is that you saw the match of... that's what I took out with a bunch of 4-drops. Mostly my Battle Screeches and my Palace Sentinels there. Looks like Nick brought in those Fire Silk Armors, Oblivion Ring, I think. And I just want to say, while we look at all this, thanks so much for watching. So the way that I've set it up is that you saw Aaron and Garrett's matchup week 1. Aaron won. You saw Nick and I's matchup here week 2. I won. Next week you'll see Aaron and I's match.
All right, neat, because that matchup is very, very interesting. It's definitely 2 of the premier decks of the format, and it'll be a fun game to watch because that is a very tense matchup there. And I think further down the road, if this series continues on the way it's going, we could potentially get some fan requests going on for lists to get played on this. But for now, we're just kind of showcasing the best and brightest of the format.
Yep, definitely. So let us know what you think. Hopefully we'll have a few of the improvements you mentioned by the time this video goes live. But yeah, keep us posted.